December 10th, 2021, Cotabato, Philippines. On this day, the parents of two siblings left their house early in the morning, informing them they would be gone for an extended period due to some urgent work. As the day passed, it was around 2 p.m. when the neighbors heard loud screams and cries coming from the house. Alarmed, they immediately called the police. When the police and neighbors entered the house, what they witnessed was nothing short of a nightmare. Inside, the lifeless bodies of 18-year-old GWEN and 17-year-old Phil Rui were found. Nearby, there was a hammer, a baseball bat, and a broken glass bottle, clearly indicating that these items were used to attack the two in a brutal and merciless manner. The scene of the crime was completely chaotic, with furniture overturned and items scattered everywhere, giving the impression that a burglar might have broken in. It appeared as though the siblings tried to confront the intruder, resulting in a violent struggle that led to their tragic deaths. However, something seemed odd. Despite the ransacked appearance of the house, no items were missing, and nothing seemed to have been stolen. Moreover, the police were unable to find any solid evidence at the scene. As the investigation unfolded, the truth that emerged left the entire Philippines in shock. This case not only shook humanity to its core, but also served as a reminder of how trust and compassion can be exploited in unimaginable ways. What was the real story behind this tragedy? Who was truly responsible for such a horrific crime? Before we dive deeper into this story, if you're new to True Crime Thrills channel, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay updated. This family had a total of 4 members, but what happened on that fateful day changed everything forever. Stay tuned as we uncover the chilling details of this case, parents and their 2 children. This story revolves around Gwen, who dreamt of becoming a doctor, and her younger brother, Lewis, aspiring to be a lawyer. The family was well known for their kindness and strong sense of social responsibility. At Gwen's school, there was a girl named Janice, an orphan since childhood, who was taken in by her uncle and aunt. However, they constantly mistreated her, ignored her basic needs, and humiliated her. Janice often went hungry and came to school visibly sad, withdrawn, and quiet. She never experienced the happiness and love every child deserves. A life-changing friendship. Gwen and Janice became close friends. When Gwen learned about Janice's hardships, she couldn't ignore them. Gwen spoke to her parents, telling them how Janice was being mistreated, starved, and abused by her guardians. She pleaded for Janice to be taken in by their family. Her parents, being compassionate and generous, agreed without hesitation. In early 2021, they welcomed Janice into their home, assuring her that she was now part of the family. For Janice, it was a new beginning. She finally experienced a home filled with love, respect, and security. Gwen and Chris treated her like a sister and gave her everything she needed. A new chapter. Janice became an inseparable part of the family. No longer just a guest, she was a daughter, a sibling, and a loved one. The family spent time together, creating happy memories, and slowly, Janice started to heal. The tragic daytime passed, and the calendar turned to December 2021. On the afternoon of December 10th, a chilling incident occurred. That morning, Gwen and Chris's parents left the house, saying they had some urgent work. Only Gwen, Chris, and Janice remained at home. Suddenly, the neighbors heard horrifying screams from the house. Alarmed, they called Gwen's father and the police. When the authorities arrived, they were met with a scene that was beyond horrifying. A blood-chilling discovery. The walls and floors were stained with blood. Gwen lay lifeless on the floor, with deep injuries on her head and body, likely inflicted by a hammer and other tools. Nearby, Lewis was found with his hands tied behind his back, his condition as horrifying as Gwen's. However, the most shocking element of the scene was Janice, the adopted daughter. When the police and others arrived, she came running out of the bathroom, clinging to her father, crying uncontrollably. She sobbed, "I locked myself in the bathroom to save my life. Otherwise, I would have met the same fate." The police questioned her further about what she saw or heard. Janice explained, "We were studying together when we suddenly heard loud noises and screaming from outside. We ran to the courtyard, and that's when they attacked Gwen and Louis. I was terrified, so I ran to the bathroom and locked myself inside. I only came out when I heard your voices." Rising doubts. While her account seemed plausible at first, the police found inconsistencies. They noticed her hair was wet, as if she had recently taken a shower. This raised a critical question. How could someone in such a terrifying situation, fearing for their life, even think about taking a shower? The investigation team decided to interrogate Janice further. Her story began to change. At times, she claimed she only heard screams and didn't see the attackers. At other times, she insisted she saw them. Her shifting narrative and nervous demeanor made the police increasingly suspicious. The evidence speaks. The forensic team analyzed the weapons found at the crime scene: a hammer, a baseball bat, and a bottle. Shockingly, Janice's fingerprints were discovered on these items. When confronted, she explained, "I touched them because I was trying to move them away." But this explanation didn't sit well with the investigators. Her statements were riddled with contradictions, raising further questions about her involvement. The investigation deepens. With growing suspicion, the police meticulously began piecing together every detail, examining every shred of evidence. What really happened that fateful day? Was Janice a victim, or was there more to her story than met the eye? Clues hidden in plain sight. The police were baffled by Janice's inconsistent statements, so they turned to her social media accounts for answers. What they found raised several alarming questions about her mental state. In one post, Janice wrote, "If I'm the poison in your life, remove me. Understand what you are and eliminate toxic people from your life." Shockingly, on the very day of the incident, she had posted, "They're hurting my siblings and I'm hiding in the bathroom to save myself." This begged the question, if she was terrified and hiding for her life, how did she have the composure to make such a post? The confession. After hours of relentless questioning, Janice finally broke down and confessed. She admitted to orchestrating the horrific events out of long-standing resentment and jealousy. Despite being adopted into a loving and supportive family, Janice felt like an outsider. Deep down, she believed that no matter how much they loved her, she would always be second to Gwen and Louis, the family's biological heirs. This fear festered into anger and eventually turned into a destructive obsession. She said, "I felt that as long as they were there, I would never get the love and acceptance I truly wanted. I was just a guest in their home, and they would always come first." A tragic plan. On the day of the incident, Janice saw her opportunity when their parents were away. She had been planning this for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment to execute her horrifying scheme. She first attacked Louis with a baseball bat, catching him off guard. Louis had no reason to suspect danger in his own home. After rendering him unconscious, She quickly tied his hands behind his back to prevent any resistance. Then, she turned to Gwen. Gwen was shocked and tried to defend herself, but Janice overpowered her, striking her multiple times. Despite Gwen's desperate attempts to escape, Janice's rage consumed her, and she carried out her violent act. The cover-up. After committing the heinous crime, Janice meticulously cleaned herself up, washing off any blood. She then locked herself in the bathroom, pretending to have hidden there in fear. When the authorities arrived, she acted as though she was a terrified victim who had narrowly escaped. But the evidence didn't lie. Forensic tests revealed her fingerprints on the murder weapons, and her changing stories only deepened the investigators' suspicions. The fallout Janice's actions shattered not only the family that had taken her in, but also her own life. The family that rescued her from hardship and gave her love and security was destroyed by her insecurities and anger. A once loving home became the site of an unspeakable tragedy, all because Janice couldn't let go of the belief that she would never truly belong. Her choices left her isolated and ruined, turning her dream of a family into a nightmare for everyone involved. A decision that backfired. Janice's insecurities and toxic thoughts led her to destroy the very family that had given her love and a new life. But this decision came with devastating consequences, not just for the family, but also for herself. Her actions left her isolated, trapped in a web of guilt and regret. So, this was the entire story. Let me know, had you heard about this case before? Share your thoughts in the comments section.